The hyena lunges toward the den and suddenly screams. A honey badger is locked onto its face. Her teeth sink deep into the hyena's muzzle as dust explodes into the air. The hyena thrashes, snarls, and tries to pull away, but the badger refuses to let go. Inside the den, helpless cubs squeal. Blood drips onto the dry African soil. The hyena is bigger, stronger, a predator built to kill. So why is it backing away in fear? Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy animal stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Hours earlier, the savanna was calm. The sun hung low in the sky as a female honey badger moved cautiously through tall grass. Her steps were slow, purposeful. Every sound mattered. Beneath the ground, hidden inside a narrow burrow, were her cubs. They were blind, hairless, silent most of the time, and completely defenseless. Honey badgers are known across Africa for fearlessness, but today, this one wasn't fearless for herself. She was guarding something far more important. She paused and lifted her nose. The wind carried a sound. A laugh. Low, rough, unmistakable. A spotted hyena. Hyenas are scavengers, but they are also expert thieves. They watch. They wait. And when they sense weakness, they strike fast. The honey badger froze. She knew this laugh. It meant danger was already close. Moments later, the grass shifted. A lone hyena emerged, head low, eyes locked on the ground near the den. It wasn't charging. It wasn't rushing. It was testing. The badger stayed still, hoping, just for a moment, that the hyena would move on. But then the hyena took one slow step forward. The cubs stirred beneath the soil, and the honey badger made a decision that could cost her life. The hyena tests her nerves. The hyena didn't rush. It circled slowly, keeping just enough distance to stay safe. Its ears twitched. Its nose worked the air. Every movement was careful. This wasn't hunger alone. This was curiosity. Hyenas are intelligent predators. Before they attack, they study. They look for hesitation, fear, or a chance to strike without injury. The honey badger stood stiff near the den entrance, body low, eyes locked on the hyena. She didn't chase. She didn't retreat. She waited. The hyena stopped and tilted its head, letting out a soft chuckle. It had dealt with snakes, jackals, and even wounded antelope before. But this was different. The badger suddenly rushed forward 2 short steps, snapping her jaws against the air. The hyena jumped back instantly, startled. A warning. The badger wasn't bluffing. Still, the hyena didn't leave. It moved again, wider this time, trying to get behind the badger. If it could distract her for just a second, it could reach the den. The honey badger spun fast, blocking the path, fur bristling, teeth exposed. The hyena paused. For a moment, the savanna held its breath. Then the hyena made its move. The first clash. The hyena lunged. Not toward the honey badger, but toward the den. It was fast. Faster than the badger expected. In a split second, the honey badger threw herself sideways, slamming into the hyena's shoulder. Teeth snapped. Dust exploded. The two animals collided hard, rolling across the dry ground. The hyena yelped in surprise. This wasn't a weak opponent. The badger locked her jaws onto the hyena's muzzle and bit down with everything she had. Hyenas rely on their faces, eyes, nose, jaws. Pain there changes everything. The hyena thrashed, trying to shake her loose. It growled, snapping blindly, but the badger held on, twisting her body, refusing to release. For a few seconds, the savanna became a blur of fur, teeth, and dust. Then the hyena pulled back violently. The badger hit the ground and rolled, but she was back on her feet instantly, charging again. The hyena staggered. Blood ran from its nose. It barked loudly, calling for help. Somewhere in the distance, another hyena answered. The honey badger heard it too, and now she knew this fight was about to get much worse. When the numbers turned deadly, the answering call echoed across the savanna. Low, harsh, close. The honey badger froze for half a second, just long enough to understand what it meant. Hyenas rarely hunt alone for long. The wounded hyena backed away slowly, keeping its eyes on the badger. It wasn't retreating. It was buying time. The honey badger shifted her body, placing herself directly in front of the den entrance. Her shoulders were squared. Her stance was low and wide. She wasn't leaving. Dust stirred behind the grass. Then another hyena appeared. Bigger, older, more confident. This one didn't rush. It stopped several steps away, studying the scene. The blood on its clan mate's muzzle, the fearless badger guarding the ground. Hyenas communicate without sound. A glance, a posture, a shared understanding. The second hyena began to circle. Now it was 2 against 1. The honey badger lunged at the newcomer without warning, forcing it to jump back. She snapped hard, aiming for the face again, then spun instantly to face the injured hyena before it could move. She was fast, but she was surrounded. The first hyena darted forward, testing her reaction. The second moved closer to the den, step by careful step. The badger charged again, slamming into the first hyena's chest. It yelped and stumbled, but this time the second hyena was ready. It rushed in from the side. The badger felt teeth rake across her thick skin. She snarled and twisted, barely avoiding a full bite. This was no longer a warning fight. This was survival. The hyenas grew bolder. They snapped and lunged, one at a time, trying to exhaust her. Each attack forced the badger to turn, to reposition, to defend the den from a different angle. Her breathing grew heavier. Her movement slowed, just slightly. The injured hyena laughed again. The sound was closer now. And then, for the first time, one hyena broke past her guard, heading straight for the den entrance. The line she cannot cross. The honey badger saw it too late. The second hyena was already at the den. Its nose dipped toward the entrance, sniffing hard. Inside, the cubs stirred, sensing movement above them. A faint squeal escaped the burrow. That sound changed everything. The honey badger screamed, not in fear, but in fury, and launched herself forward. She slammed into the hyena's head with full force, biting down on its ear and tearing sideways. The hyena howled in pain, rearing back violently, trying to shake her loose. But the first hyena seized the moment. It rushed in from behind. Teeth clamped down on the badger's hind leg. The honey badger twisted sharply, her thick skin absorbing some of the damage, but the pain was real. She lost her footing and hit the ground hard. For the first time, she was vulnerable. Both hyenas closed in. They circled fast now, snapping and barking, testing her ability to rise. Dust filled the air, stinging her eyes. Her breathing came in short bursts. Still she stood. The badger lunged again, this time directly at the injured hyena, the one that had drawn blood first. Her jaws locked onto its muzzle once more, biting deeper than before. The hyena screamed. It stumbled backward, crashing into the grass. The second hyena hesitated. Predators know risk, and they know pain. But hunger and opportunity pressed harder. The cubs were right there. The second hyena darted forward again, ignoring the badger's charge, pushing past her shoulder. The badger spun too late. The hyena reached the den entrance. Its paw dug into the dirt. And then, it stopped. The honey badger leapt onto its face one final time, teeth clamped tight, refusing to release no matter how violently it shook. The den was inches away. So was death. Pain, instinct, and pure defiance. The hyena shook its head violently. The honey badger refused to let go. Her jaws were locked tight around the hyena's muzzle, teeth buried deep. Every shake slammed her small body against the ground, but she held on, twisting, tearing, making every movement hurt. The hyena screamed again. This was no longer a hunt. It was a punishment. The second hyena circled nervously, unsure where to attack without risking the same fate. Each step closer brought the badger's eyes snapping toward it. Cold, focused, fearless. The first hyena finally wrenched free, stumbling backward, blood streaking its face. It shook its head violently, disoriented, confused. The honey badger stood her ground, chest heaving. Her leg throbbed where teeth had sunk in. Pain pulsed through her body. But she didn't limp. She didn't retreat. She stepped forward instead. Hyenas are used to prey that runs. This one advanced. The second hyena snapped once, then backed away half a step. Its confidence was fading. Injury meant weakness, and weakness could turn a hunt into a disaster. The badger charged again, forcing both hyenas to scatter. For the first time since this began, there was space between them. Silence followed, broken only by heavy breathing and the distant hum of insects. The honey badger positioned herself once more in front of the den, lowering her body, ready for another attack. The hyenas regrouped a short distance away. They stared. They laughed softly. And then, slowly, they began to retreat. Not far. Not yet. They were deciding whether the den was worth another bite. The moment the hyena gives up, the savanna felt different now. Not quiet, but watchful. The two hyenas stood several body lengths away, sides rising and falling as they caught their breath. One kept shaking its head, blood drying around its muzzle. The other glanced toward the den, then back at the honey badger. Neither moved. The honey badger remained planted in front of the burrow, her body low, teeth still visible. Dust clung to her fur. One leg trembled slightly, but she didn't shift her stance. She stared them down. Hyenas are predators, but they are also calculators. They measure risk. They remember pain. The injured hyena took a slow step backward. Then another. The second hyena hesitated, eyes fixed on the den one last time. It knew the cubs were there. It knew the reward was close. But it also knew the cost. The honey badger took one deliberate step forward. That was enough. The injured hyena turned first, breaking into a trot. The second followed, glancing back only once before disappearing into the tall grass. The laughter faded. The threat was gone. For now, the honey badger didn't chase them. She stood there for several seconds, listening, making sure the danger had truly passed. Only when the savanna returned to its normal rhythm did she turn and lower herself at the den entrance. From below, faint squeaks answered her. The cubs were alive, but the badger was wounded, exhausted, and night was coming. A mother still standing. Night settles over the savanna. The air cools. Shadows stretch long across the grass. In the distance, insects begin their steady chorus. The honey badger remains at the den entrance. Her body is sore. One leg is swollen where the hyena's teeth broke the skin. Dried blood darkens her fur. Every breath reminds her how close she came to losing everything. But she is alive. Slowly, she lowers her head and lets out a soft sound, low and gentle. From beneath the soil, tiny movements answer back. The cubs crawl closer. They are safe. For now, honey badgers don't have the luxury of rest. Hyenas remember locations. They share information. And tomorrow, the danger could return. Still, tonight belongs to her. She shifts her body to block the den entrance completely, becoming a living shield. Her eyes remain open, scanning the darkness. Even wounded, she does not sleep deeply. This is the reality of survival in the wild. No victory is permanent. No safety is guaranteed. Only instinct, courage, and refusal to surrender. Somewhere far off, a hyena laughs again, but this time, it keeps its distance. The message is clear. This den is not worth the pain. The honey badger stays still as the stars rise overhead, guarding the next generation with everything she has left. Because in the wild, bravery isn't loud. Sometimes, it's simply staying. If this story moved you, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next true animal survival story. Every week, we bring you real battles from the wild, where instinct, courage, and survival collide. And next, we follow an animal that fights even when escape is impossible. You won't want to miss it.